Space, why did that shot take 4 attempts?
Because...
Say it!
Because I kept taking the buffers!
Yes folks, the title is not clickbait. I was given the brilliant opportunity to create the official trailer for one of Stepford County Railway's biggest updates, version 2.0. It's been a while since the update was released, and I wanted to make this video to talk to you guys about some secrets behind this trailer, because oh boy, there's a lot. Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now you may all be wondering, how did Dweller, some random SCR YouTube channel, get the chance to make something so special? Well, I can tell you now, it was pretty random. Toby, the current Compact Disc community director, messaged me one day giving me the opportunity, and of course I accepted. I was given temporary access to a different copy of SCR, which was under version 2.0 development, so that I could film all the shots myself with the help of SCR managers and developers. It was pretty cool. This gameplay had 2 tools that I was allowed to use. Time controls, where I could choose a time of day to set the world to, and most importantly, a free cam mode with full FOV controls. Without these 2 features, I'd have been lost trying to make a good looking trailer, and I honestly think these should be available to content creators. What was good is that in most cases I had the freedom to adjust all the shots to how I wanted them to look, which was really useful considering how difficult it is in first person mode to make a good looking train shot. I edited the trailer in a really simple software, Shotcut. It's familiar to me, has all the facilities I need, and did the job just fine, so don't complain about it being an overly simplistic editor. I can't make this video without giving a massive shout out to SquadFam9000, who gave me brilliant inspiration to make this trailer. Him and I used to be involved in a creative Minecraft server project called CashCraft, in which the team spent a long time building and automating a massive metro system. Squad made a little trailer for this, using the song I ended up using for the SCR trailer and the signal ping theme. Here's a small snippet. I used this as a huge basis for the SCR trailer, as you can clearly see. And of course you should all go and subscribe to Squad. Anyway, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the trailer, with some secrets lots of you would have missed. First of all, the very start of the trailer originally had a blue logo, and the word presents at the bottom of the screen. However, they weren't too keen on these, so they got removed. Next up, did any of you notice what's a bit off about this time-lapse at Edgemead? If you look really closely, you can see that the clock on the wall jumps around significantly, because this time-lapse is actually cut up quite a lot so it looks better. I ended up gathering as much as 25 minutes of footage, most of which was just blank, so I removed the blank parts and sped it up, leaving this. However, I only had a 4-second slot for this time-lapse, so I had to remove even more trains to make it fit without being too fast. Also, I don't think anyone noticed this, but you can clearly see the Rayleigh Bay split-off line in this shot with an express train running down it. So I suppose this is my little precursor to the big express reveal. One of the biggest challenges to this trailer was fitting in the new UI nicely. Of course, an SCR trailer is best suited with aesthetic features, mainly the map and trains, but because there weren't loads of that to work with, we agreed that it would be important to showcase the new UI. I made it work decently well in the actual trailer, but it took quite a few iterations. This was my first attempt. It didn't really flow very well with the music and felt out of place, so I scrapped this idea and moved the shots back to where they were before. Me and the director started floating around an idea of having the screen rotate around an accelerating throttle animation, so I gave this a go. However, sadly, as you can see, this didn't really work, mostly because of frames per second, pixel quality, and importantly the borders of a screen in Roblox. So I decided to remake a new bit close to the end of the trailer. This was almost the version I ended up using. There was one minor tweak to make this transition a little less jarring by matching up the position of the throttle. You can see how much better it made it. And there you have it, I didn't ignore the new UI in the trailer. Something interesting I was told before I started making this trailer was that all the manager volunteers who featured in the trailer needed to have a reasonably normal looking avatar. It makes sense, so the attention of the trailer is drawn away from the people and more towards the new features. I did a brilliant job at this. Yep, definitely. We're going to ignore that and talk about Water Newton, where I was showcasing the fact that Airlink can now stop there. This shot took a while to do because there was a signal bug at the time which meant signals weren't updating properly, so I couldn't make the signal ping that I wanted to make. Though eventually I was recommended to spice up the signal ping aspect a little bit with interlock lights and dispatch patterns, so I didn't even end up using this signal shot. Speaking of the signal bug, see this shot with the brilliant semaphore bounce? Well, if you look very closely, you can see that there's a slight delay between the train passing the signal and the signal activating. Since the bug caused signals to refuse to update, I had to ask someone to sit on the signal desk and change it manually for me. Thanks, Savage. Thanks to human reaction time and Australian internet connection, there's still a slight gap, which is barely noticeable because of the angle. This character here is the account I was temporarily given access to so that I could make the trailer, although sadly I had the account taken away from me when the update was released. The SCR fanboy deep within me is, of course, distraught. And here it is again. This shot here, showcasing the much better new entrance of North Shore Station, was done directly with Vex SG in mind. I'm not joking, I might not have made it so nicely otherwise. For this shot here of the 156 at Leighton City, I decided that I didn't like the signal shot at Platform 1. So, I had to get someone to drive a train into Platform 1 so it was blocked, allowing me to get the 156 into Platform 2 instead. That entire section with the 156 was done with the intent of chronology, where the camera follows the train on its route from Leighton City all the way to Rayleigh Bay. Although, did anyone notice that the unit number kept changing because I couldn't do it all in one go? It starts off as 156446, then goes to 453, 451, 465, and finally 456. This makes absolutely no sense, but I don't think anyone noticed. Also, can I just comment on how incredibly smooth this express reveal shot is? This 195 scene here used to be a shot of a class 168, but I was asked to change it for some reason. I don't know why. I changed it in a rush at the end, so I don't feel like it fits quite as well, but it's okay. Because of how close I was to finishing, at that point I just wanted to get it over with. I found recently that the file name for this shot is called Toby! So I was obviously a little bit restless by then. Though technically, the class 168 is still mentioned here in the UI part of the trailer, so take that, directors. Again, another brilliant shot at West Wyvern. Also, the new station looks amazing. For the sunset shot at the end, I actually had 39 minutes of footage, but I barely used any of it. The first reason was because, as you can see in this mega time-lapse of the whole thing, the sun disappears midway through. I have no clue why the sky worked like that, but I guess we roll. Also, to avoid my account being kicked from the game, I had to move my camera a tiny bit a few times, but it turns out I did this way too frequently, and the movements made the time-lapse look very bad. I didn't want to record another one the next day since it took a lot to convince so many people to drive to Rayleigh Bay for me, so in the final trailer, only a tiny bit of the time-lapse is actually used. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the end, because I know from when this trailer aired that you were all disappointed over a lack of release date. I can give you a simple answer here. There was no release date. SCR's updates pretty much come out whenever they're ready, so they don't like confirming release dates too early in case a bunch of bugs start to cause trouble right before release. Although, I was surprised about how early they decided to air this trailer to the public. I did also want to put some credits at the end, but they thought it looked a little odd, so they put them in the video description instead. But anyway, that's pretty much all. Of course, a massive shout out to those who helped me film this trailer, and to those of you who thought the trailer was really good. Do I think it was better than the 1.10 trailer? Well, no. The 1.10 trailer had a lot more visual features to show off, so it felt a lot more exciting and less repetitive when it was aired, so it's easily better. Also, I don't think my trailer had as many cool creative shots as the 1.10 trailer. There was only so much I could do. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and consider subscribing if you enjoy my content. My name is Dweller, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.